afternoon, everyone. So, as promised, today I am going to discuss the first concept of our series of basic understanding of system design concepts. And whatever the topic I am going to pick it, which is very important by the way. So, today I am going to discuss about the caching strategy, which is very useful, and many times I have seen in my interview experience, like interviewee got confused on the question like, what kind of caching do you need in given scenario? Like you already aware of requirement. Now they are asking like, what kind of caching do you need? If you don't know fundamental behind the caching or requirement, you will be confused very sure, right? But let's try to understand what is important in this question. As you know, cache is for improvement the time required to serve your client. So it is very important for your client and for your service also. Now the next thing is, if it is so important, how do you decide on caching strategy? So by listening, it seems to be easy problem, but actually it is checking your thorough understanding of requirement or your context. How you want to use your cache, which will improve your overall time to serve your client. It is most of the time required by any requirement. Like anybody is going to implement any requirement, this is very important point for you. This is always required in your service. How quickly you can serve your client. This is the point where interviewer expect from you that what are the things you want to cache and how long. So two major points to be discussed at this stage, and those are, one is caching strategy. If I explain what it means, that this is something like what are the things to be cached and how do you cache. And the second point is what would be the eviction strategy, because cache is limited for you, right? So you cannot permanently save everything into the cache. So cache eviction is also very important. And by putting these two questions, interviewer will get idea about your understanding of requirement and the approach by which you want to handle this requirement. It also helps interviewer to understand your design decision capability. I hope I am clear until this point, and I am okay to move on with the explanation of different caching strategy. For example, read through cache, write through cache, write around cache, write back cache, and cache aside. So in this video and maybe one or two more video which is coming next, we will discuss all these 5 strategies in detail, not much detail, but in briefly, so that you will create your sense to understand these nuances. Let's start discussing all these caching strategy one by one. And let's start discussing the read through cache first. Now, let's see the diagram here. Okay. If I have to describe it, I can describe like cache intercepts data request from the client. Serve if already in cache from there itself. And on cache miss, fetch the data from database, stores a copy into the cache and serve it to the client. This is the fundamental read through cache concept, right? Now, whenever you are reading anything, you have to understand the basic pros and cons of this approach, which will help you to decide in your trade-offs, right? So I'm not going to in detail many pros and cons. I am just picking 2 important points here in both categories. So in case of pros, improve read performance, the first point, which is improve pros, and second is reduce data source load. Cons is stale data issues because you are reading from cache, so stale data. Sometimes your time become higher because on the cache miss, you will have to go through the database, pick it, and then serve. So that's why this is a little bit tricky at some time. Second approach is write through cache. Look at this diagram. If I have to describe it, I will say like all clients write operation are directed to the cache, which is in turn updates the database, ensures data consistency all the time. And this point is also a pros of this caching strategy. So let's discuss the pros and cons of this. The first pros already discussed, like data integrity and consistency. Right? And the second point, which is simplicity and reduced latency for reads. But they have cons also. Now, in most of the scenario, they increase write latency. And the second point is little improvement for write intensive workload. Like even though you will apply it, If your work is write intensive, then it won't give you much improvement. So at the conclusion, any choice is based on trade-offs, what your system must have and what your system good to have. So let's continue other three more strategy in next video and then conclude on caching strategy as a concept, right? Thank you for your watching video and helping to see you in the next video. So I want to end this video with the quote: don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. Thank you.